Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, the next SpaceX booster may touch down on solid ground. The Tecnam P2010 is okay for MoGas. Dutch police officer accused of attempting to sell crashed airplane memorabilia. I'm Bree Cross. It's December 4th, 2015, and this is Airborne Unlimited. SpaceX plans to return to flight late this month after losing a Falcon 9 rocket in June due to a technical malfunction. And this time, according to NASA, the company may attempt to land the Falcon 9 booster back at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, rather than aboard a remote autonomous platform in the Atlantic Ocean. Space.com reports that Carol Scott, who works technical integration for SpaceX within NASA's Commercial Crew Program, told reporters at a news conference earlier this week that SpaceX is considering the land-based recovery. SpaceX would not comment on the statement. However, a land-based recovery has always been in their plans. SpaceX leased a former launch platform to create its landing pad at Cape Canaveral earlier this year. If SpaceX is successful, it would come just a few weeks following Blue Origin's successful landing of a booster that flew a suborbital mission in Texas. Following that achievement, SpaceX founder Elon Musk tweeted, "Orbital landing next." Tecnam says that from the initial design concepts for the P2010, it has planned to offer a MoGas fuel alternative. The selection of Lycoming IO-360M1A to power this next-generation four-seater was mainly because of its capability to burn alternative fuels. The ability to burn MoGas means Tecnam P2010 operators will see more cost-effective operations, and the engines will produce significantly lower lead emissions. Existing Tecnam P2010 owners and operators will also benefit from EASA's approval. Paolo Pasquale, managing director of Tecnam, said, quote, "This provides the consumer with a great number of fuel options on the aircraft, and especially unleaded options, which are not only better for the environment, but better for the engine as well," end quote. After the break, a Dutch police officer accused of breaking a trust.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, Navcom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
AML's patent-pending wireless induction charging system eliminates confusion over those charging cables, cuts down cockpit cable clutter, and allows you and your passengers to fly cordless and eliminate the cable nightmare. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. Here's a report that shows the darker side of human nature. A Dutch police officer has been accused of selling items from a tragic airliner crash. It's alleged the items are from a Malaysian Airlines Boeing 777 that went down in eastern Ukraine in July of 2014, which the Dutch Safety Board says was hit by a Russian-built ground-to-air missile. According to reports, the items from the airliner appeared on an online auction website. The law enforcement officer was taken into custody for questioning on suspicion of embezzlement, according to a statement from Dutch police. They say he attempted to sell a piece of the aircraft, a packet of tissues, and clothing worn by one of the investigators at the scene. Dutch television reports that the asking price for the three items was about $1,600. Police are working to determine which of the items were actually from the crash scene. It's Friday, and that means that it's time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly barnstorming commentary. This week, Jim brings us up to date on what's going on at ANN, the Litbob Fly project, and our Airborne Partnership Initiative. Here is this week's barnstorming.
Thanks, Bree, and hi, folks, and happy holidays. Well, we got through Turkey Day without getting into too much of a turkey coma, but this point, I think it's kind of a proper idea to give you a little bit of an overview of what we've done this year and where we go from here. First of all, ANN is doing okay. We're recovering from the sins of the past. We've undertaken a number of massive new projects. And while the last thing we really needed around here was to take on anything huge, well, we not only took on something huge, but a number of things huge. First of all, this is the year we introduced the Airborne Partnership Initiative. And while that project has gone better than we expected in a number of realms and taught us more than we ever dreamed, it's also a slow, laborious process because there's a number of personalities, each with important missions and important concepts that need to be paid attention to. And while it's a little bit like herding cats, I have to tell you, I'm learning more about this industry and the people in it than ever before. And most important, I'm impressed by what I'm finding. More on that at another time. Above and beyond that, we are undertaking additional expansion of the Airborne Innovation Preview. We did a phenomenal job at Oshkosh, thanks to Nathan Cremusino and Bree Cross and Dan Klopp and Annie Byers and all the people who helped us with that. And I'm really proud of what occurred. We're going to introduce a shortened version of it for Sebring, provided everybody gets their material in on time. We are definitely going to work with Sun and Fun. Yeah, I said Sun and Fun. On another version of it, and we're really excited about where we go from there. We've got some interesting ideas and some variants on that. Plus, of course, as we do every April, we'll be working with the Aircraft Electronics Association on their new product introduction, the process that inspired the AIP and has led the industry in so many ways, and we're excited to do it again. This will be, I guess our 7th, 8th year now doing live presentations from AEA. This is also the year that Bob Hoover and I sat down and he expressed some discontent about his place in the aviation world, feeling a little bit like he, get this, let us down. When the FAA went after Bob, it was a 3-year laborious process. It decimated so much of his life. It cost him a bloody fortune. And when he got his medical back, he did what all people should do, got back to business. But he thinks there's things that could have been done, should have been done, and he wants to do them now. In other words, what he really wants to do is make sure that the justice he finally received, late, overly expensive, overly arduous, will someday be available much easier, much fairer, much more quickly to everybody. He believes that aviation deserves a fairer deal from the FAA, and so do we. And Let Bob Fly is all about making sure that people understand the lessons of the past and the lessons we need to learn and implement for the future. And finally, let's face it, 2016 presents a lot of opportunities. We've got a major site redesign in the works for ANN. We've had some amazing discussions with amazing people about refocusing certain aspects of what we're doing and rededicating others. Do understand that ANN's first and only real loyalty is to telling you the truth, that no matter how many other sites may be going to the Gawker formula and the sensationalism and crap and clickbait and all that kind of nonsense, our first job is to present honest, aggressive, innovative editorial to you as honestly as we can, as quickly as we can, and to make sure that no matter what we're doing it first and foremost with your interests in mind. That's the mission. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell.
After these messages, Embry-Riddle providing free UAS safety training.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University is offering a free online course for the operation of unmanned aerial systems. The course is scheduled to run from January 11th through the 24th, and registration begins on December 8th. This is a step in the right direction to improve UAS safety. Captain David W. Fitzgerald has been appointed Chief Pilot by CommutAir. His appointment will be effective upon fulfilling the necessary FAA regulatory requirements. CommutAir operates as United Express and is in the process of expanding its fleet. The MQ-8C Fire Scout completed a 3-week operational assessment period on November 20th at Point Mugu, California. It's reported the MQ-8C is meeting or exceeding its performance objectives and will deliver greater warfighting capabilities. It has been announced that Mark Gale, the Chief Executive Officer of the Philadelphia International Airport, is retiring. Gale has spent almost 28 years with the city-owned airport, which is the 12th busiest in the United States. 2 instructors have received for the first time or renewed their Master Instructor designation in the month of November. They are Raymond W. Brown and Robert M. Shapiro. This accreditation is issued by Master Instructors, LLC. Well, that's our trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The FAI World Air Games are currently being held in Dubai, and it involves the complete spectrum of aerial activities ranging from model aircraft to high-level, full-scale airplane aerobatics. One of the unique competition categories is paragliding aerobatics. In a report from the FAI, they say that it is rare to find competitors from the U.S. in paragliding aerobatic competitions because it has a relatively small following in the U.S. However, one American who does compete is Max Marion. He has come all the way from San Diego, California to Dubai to compete with what he says is a trio of new maneuvers he's developed. Marion said, quote, "They've never been seen in a competition before," end quote. One of the hardest moves to perform in paragliding aerobatics is the so-called infinite tumble or infinity, a pseudo-loop that puts the pilot through some 8 Gs. Marion's new tricks, one of which he christened the Devil's Tumble, involves him flipping forward, backwards, and from left to right while his wing loops overhead. It makes us dizzy just thinking about it, but we wish him well in the competition. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Monday.